Welcome, everyone, to the Holstein House podcast. I'm the West Virginia woman, Robin, of RobinHolstein.com and Holstein House, where my guests get a great night's sleep at a fair rate plus breakfast. This is a podcast that looks at society and culture issues affecting families in West Virginia and the United States, from food preparation and storage, gardening, home repairs, current events, and more. We'll go around the table and back in 60 minutes or less. So let's hang out and talk a while.
Well, good morning, all y'all. I hope you can hear me. My mic was not connected all the way. Sorry about that. I don't know if I can, maybe I can try this. And of course, at the moment I went live, I dropped my glasses on the floor. I'm sorry about that. I'm Robin Holstein, and this is the Holstein House broadcast. And today we're going to talk about garden tomatoes, tomato blight, a little bit about tomato blight, some lettuce, and the doghouse, maybe a little bit. We've talked about that the other day. And the Heatwave. But first, I want to welcome you if you are a first-time viewer of the Holstein House broadcast. I'm not a highly polished and fast-talking presenter, but I know that's kind of goes a little against the grain there. That most people they talk really fast. There's lots of whiz bang boom, and there's all this. Flashing lights and oh my God, did you see that? And whoa, I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that. Let me see if I can. I don't do that works just fine. I don't do any of that. Let me see. So sorry about that. I just needed to make sure that the mic was working again. StreamYard doesn't. It just says, "Hey, your mic was disconnected." It doesn't say it came back on. So I was a little sure. How are you doing? I'm really glad to be back on for a few minutes this morning. Honestly, a few minutes. It's really not going to be long. And I can't get my stuff settled. And let's see. It didn't pull up. I mean, you really don't need my name, but normally my name is under there, and I don't see it. Anyways, wherever you're coming from, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Rumble or somewhere else, I hope you'll stop in and say hello. I never know. I mean, if you don't say hello, I can see that there are people watching, but if you don't say hello, I don't know who you are. And I'd love to know who you are. I really would. I'd love to be able to say, hey, and meet you that way, and be able to relate a little bit to some of the things in your part of the world. I've been out in the garden, so I haven't been able to talk to you guys very much because I haven't had many live broadcasts lately, actually for a while, and I've kind of hit and miss, and I'm sorry about that. And I'm working on getting back into a regular routine with this. There's a couple other projects that I need to do other than just this, so I've got to get a schedule worked out or get things balanced out, and I kind of talked about that a little bit the other day. I told you a little bit about some projects that I was working on, but today I want to also share some photos. I apologize. I had, I know I shouldn't keep apologizing for things, but I was working on getting my images up so that I could share them with you, and StreamYard was booked, and I was trying to get a workaround so that I didn't have to go out and come back in. And could I get it done before the time was before my start time? Because I wanted to come in, say hello, share some stuff with you, and move along because I have to go downtown here in a little bit, and it's going to be so hot today that I don't want to piddle around too much in the house until this afternoon. I need to get some errands run this morning onto the bank and things, and I just wasn't able to get everything up and running the way I wanted to. But I went out this morning with all this heat, in this time of the year, and the first official day of summer and the daylight hours. It's like 6 o'clock is in the morning is when the sun's up. Now it's daylight before that, obviously, but for here in the mountains, it's daylight, but then the sun doesn't top the mountain for a long time, so you can be out there fiddling around in the daylight, and you can actually watch the sun. It looks like it's rising, and of course, science, we know it's not actually rising. But I wanted to share with you a little bit of what was going on this week in the garden, and let's see if I can share this with you. I think I've told you that I've got some zucchini squash in a hanging basket in my on my back porch. It's the best porch for vegetables. It faces it. The back porch is open. It gets the morning sun. It gets sun all day. It's at an angle in the morning, and then you get just a little bit of shade at high noon, but it's still really bright, and then it gets the evening sun. So it's really great for my hanging vegetables. Let's see, where is it? Here. I want to show you this. This is a zucchini, and I'm not sure how you're seeing that, if it's actually taking your full screen or not. I don't know if I can toggle. Oh, here, I don't want to do it. I don't want to put me there. I want to put, no, I want to do it this way. There we go. So, I didn't, wait, did I? I think I backed out. I did. Okay, so, sorry. So here is the one of my zucchini. I have two, and this is a hanging basket, and it is kind of struggling, but I wanted to share with you. If you don't have a lot of space for a garden, even a container garden, you can try hanging baskets. Now here you see I have a zucchini in a hanging basket. And it is struggling just a little bit because it's a small pot, but it is producing. So this zucchini is going to turn out just fine, and I will probably get several more off of this plant before the season's over. And so even if you just have a small space, you can also grow crops. This is my other zucchini. It is smaller than the first one, and that's the flower end. They look kind of funny when they're growing. I've never grown zucchini, so this is my second zucchini. This pot is also hanging. It is a hanging basket. It does have garden soil from the big box stores in it. I don't have a lot of space for a traditional garden, so I wanted to try several different plants. This is a fingerling eggplant. Now, I've also never grown eggplant, and I've also grown this in a hanging basket on my back porch. So you can grow vegetables. You may not have a huge multi-acre garden that will supply you with food forever, but you can reduce your grocery bill by growing some of your own food. This is my second eggplant. It is also in a hanging basket. I may have a third one here. I'm kind of watching it. That was a bloom, and they look, the eggplant kind of, when they're after the bloom has been pollinated, the eggplant, it kind of looks like it's dying to me. And then eventually you see the little bulb of the eggplant, and then it does this right here, then you know it's producing. So hopefully I'll have quite a few eggplant, and I got to look up. I don't remember the size these are going to get to. They're not huge like your traditional eggplants. This is a hybrid. This is a fingerling. It's going to be small. And that's just my coffee cup. I did a post on Nostr this morning, and coffee chain is one of the hashtags that I use on Nostr, and it helps connect you with other people who enjoy coffee, and just as hashtags. So I was using my coffee cup in front of the garden for that image, and that in the background there, if you can see with my mouse pointer, that is my container garden. The tallest stuff you see there are the tomato plants, and here in the front are the pepper plants. There's a tomato plant in this first. This is the Jersey Devil. I know you can't really see it, but in this big white container is my Jersey Devil. Then way back over here is the Indigo Rose tomato plant. So the Indigo Rose is still kind of not doing real well. This is my first little cherry tomato that was ripe. It probably was ripe yesterday, but I picked it this morning. It's better to harvest from your garden in the mornings when the plants are just waking up and still kind of fresh, rather than in the heat of the afternoon when they're kind of wilty and tired and stressed from the heat. So this is my first little cherry tomato plant, or tomato. These are pear tomatoes, and I've got quite a few on this plant too, and they're going to be a yellow tomato, and you'll see here that I ended up knocking those off. And you see these, and when they come off that easy, they're ripe. So that was my first harvest from my container garden so far, not counting lettuce, because I've been harvesting lettuce for a while. These are some more tomato plants. I can't read the tags. I think this one, even they put a toothpick. No, it's not this one, but one of them they put they're writing on the toothpicks and sticking the toothpicks, not toothpicks, popsicle sticks, writing on the popsicle sticks and putting them in the planters to identify the plants that you have. And one of mine has faded and you can't read it. And I purchased these little plastic planter tags from one of the dollar type stores. And I don't remember if it was Dollar Tree or Family Dollar or Dollar General, but I think it was Dollar Tree. And even with a Sharpie marker, you can't, it fades off. You can't, they're just not very good. I don't know if a wax crayon, no, wax wouldn't write on it. I don't know, but the Sharpie pen, you figure Sharpies are almost permanent, but they're not. These are some more tomato plants that you see here. Some more tomato plants here. I think this one is my Brandywine. I don't remember. I didn't get a picture of all of the tags. So my tomatoes are doing okay. This one's kind of spindly. I did give them some fertilizer yesterday. It is an organic fertilizer, an organic bone meal based fertilizer, just a dab in it. The actual directions said to use a tablespoon per plant, but in these containers, I was concerned that it would be too much, so I just sprinkled a teaspoon around the edges and watered that in, because it can't get down into the ground. It's just getting down into the container, so it's not like it's going to get absorbed by grass or anything. So I was hesitant on that. Here's some more gorgeous little tomatoes. These are my Romas, I think these are my Romas, and they're not a round tomato either, like a salad tomato. And that's the last image we have on the garden today. So I did want to share that with you. The garden, it is coming along okay. It is getting stressed by all the heat. We had a couple days this week where in the shade on the front porch, the thermometer, which the little readout is here. It's a little digital thermometer. It's the sensor is out on the front porch, and it sends a little signal to that thing. And it was 100 degrees out on the front porch in the shade around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, twice. twice in the past 7 days. So it's been very hot. This morning, it was cooler this morning. It was in the 60s this morning when I got up. And as I was watering the plants this morning, um, it, uh, it was daylight and it was cooler, and I was able to get everything watered well. And that's when I took those pictures and stuff. So I had a busy morning with that this morning. Let's see. Oh, Blight. Oh, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Blight. I didn't show you a good picture. Let me see if I can find one real quick. A tomato blight is a big deal. It can destroy your plants. There are folks who swear by. I'm flipping through the images to see if there's a picture that I have that shows a blighted leaf. I took a lot of those off and treated the plants yesterday. Oh, this is all church stuff. I don't have most of my images. I don't have sorted anymore. If I went back and sorted all the images, it would take me days. Those pictures of books I'm trying to sell. Oh, here we go. Maybe. No. Oh, yeah, that'll work. So I don't want to remove that. How do I want to do that? There we go. I think you can see this. I will try to zoom in. Yeah. So what you're going to see here are leaves that are blighted. And blight is generally a fungus that affects tomatoes. There are folks who swear by using a baby aspirin if you put a baby aspirin in the ground before you put the tomato plant in, that it will help stop blight. There are people who will put aspirin in some water. I don't know the dosage amounts. I have no idea. And then water the plant and say that helps too. I've done a couple things with the blight because I don't want to play around with this. The blight can devastate your entire crop. It really can. It can ruin all your tomatoes. I like a more organic style of managing the garden because my garden is so small. I have treated these. Now, what you need to do is you need to take your cutters, whether it's regular scissors or whether it's cutters, and you need to see these. Well, some of these are insect damage. So these little holes here are insect damage. But this brown leaf down here, and hopefully you can see that is blight. This one is blight. This one is blight. And this is blight here. You see this black stuff on the end of the plant. And so you need to take some clean, either scissors or clippers, if you have clippers, and clip those out. I'm going to do this here for just a minute. Bob's needing it. If you'll excuse me, give me, I don't know, a few seconds, and let me go let Bob in because it is so hot outside that he is getting overheated and he's at the door. Hang on just a second. Alrighty. Sorry about that. I have to let him in. I had the door open so I could see him. He was already panting, and he's a black dog. So he absorbs that heat. He didn't understand. He doesn't know that the sun's too hot, that he might die if he gets too hot. So, this is getting in my ears. I keep saying I want to get new ones, and I never do. So anyway, blight. I bought some organic treatment. It's a fungicide. It's a fruit tree spray that you use. And of course, tomatoes are fruit, and the fungicide is what you want to treat the blight. You can also, and I have done this as well, and I've had some luck, but I think I started too late because it seemed to be taking off. You can use brown mouthwash, which is like the Listerine type, but it could be a generic brand that does just as it's the brown antiseptic mouthwash. And a little dish soap or baby shampoo. You don't want antibacterial, you want just plain dish soap or baby shampoo. I use Dawn Blue, just the plain straight up stuff, not the ultra stuff. And a teaspoon of each of those things in a gallon of water. Or if you have one of those hose-in sprayer things, you can mix up a cup of each, and take a cup and then mix up a cup of each and put that in your sprayer. And if it doesn't fill it up, put a little bit of water in there to fill it up all the way, and use that to wash down your plants. You can also use that to help wash off insects. Now, it's not going to kill all the insects, but it can help you get rid of some and keep the pest load down. But I did use that. It did slow it down some, but I think I started a little late. I probably should have started with the brown mouthwash and dish soap or baby soap treatment a lot sooner. I'm gonna say about the time they started to bloom, if not before that, if not right after I put that on there. And you do that every couple of weeks, and you keep that up, and it helps keep down the blight. And if you see that it's getting ahead of you, then you need to seriously consider other treatments if you want to save your plants. There are a lot of ways you can try organics. There are a lot of ways you can try all natural, but there's a reason you can try having a plant that will attract insects over here or somewhere to try to pull them away from your container garden. But there's a reason that we needed to come and start using artificial or chemical treatments because the insects were decimating the gardens, and people couldn't raise the gardens. Now, I'm not a fan of overusing them. I'm a fan of using them in limitations. But if you are container gardening, you need to give that some consideration, because if you're counting on that to help supplement your household, then you need to be able to take care of those things quickly. This morning I did see some squash bugs on my squash plants, and I did get them out of, they were down in the flowers, down around this, I know the name of it. I know the name of it. I can see it in my mind's eye, and I just can't see the words. But down at the base of the flowers inside, and I was able to get my finger in there, and I think I mashed them and I know that a couple of them I rolled them out, and they were dead when I rolled them out. Peel like that. I think, and I know I got some of them, but I hope I didn't damage the stem. Stamen. Stamen's the word I was looking for. I knew it was in there somewhere. So the squash bugs are there, and I know this, and I've got to be able, because they will decimate your tomatoes, your cucumbers, they will decimate your squash, your eggplants. They will take them out. Your zucchini, they will take them out. You'll just notice a few, and then within a couple of days, your whole plant's gone. So you have to research, and you have to think about these things, whether that's something that you want to use. Chemical treatments, or do you have a natural treatment? What do you want to try? I am not opposed to chemical treatments in limited, and carefully used. There's someone on the Telegram group that I talk to back and forth, and she has a neighbor that sprays stuff, and it drifts in the air and gets on her. And she's trying to be all organic, and these chemicals drift over. And she had some crop damage last year. Now she's just waiting. She had some. She thought it was some insecticide or pesticide that was floating across, and she was worried about some of her crops. And she said she hasn't seen anything yet. Plus, she also has bees. and bees are very sensitive. If you use these chemicals, read the labels carefully. Many of them tell you to not use them when bees are out and active. So that limits the time of day that you can use them. You have to use them early morning or late evening so that the bees are at the hives, because some of these things will kill your bees. The pesticides will kill your bees because pesticides don't think and say, oh, that's a bee, that's not a pest. So they're only pests to us. They're only pests to us. The lettuce is hanging in there. The heat is stressing it out. I have harvested quite a bit of lettuce. I'm trying to do the cut and come again, where you don't take the whole thing out. I'm using leaf lettuce, where you don't take the whole thing out. You just cut down and you leave a lot, and it grows back. There's a couple of plants that I have that I've started to harvest from this morning. I got distracted and I didn't. I need to take those out before they rot. And I want to cut them back. Heat is not, lettuce doesn't like heat. Lettuce likes cool weather, springs and fall and late falls, where it's cool and crisp outside. And so I'm really lucky that my lettuce has been hanging on the way it has been. It's also in hanging baskets on my back porch. Again, you can grow these things in small spaces. You can supplement your household food with homegrown items. Just, study your home, see where the sun hits, and then think in your mind, or look up, what plants need all day sun, what plants need morning sun, what plants can tolerate shade, what plants must have shades. And then, take a little piece of paper and sketch it out and lay it out and think, how could I grow this garden? Change out, instead of having hanging baskets of flowers, have hanging baskets of vegetables that grow on lines. Never fails, does it? When I'm upstairs, it's always the clock. It always cuckoos at me. It's set pretty well right now. It's pretty close to right on the money. But again, look at, now I will share with you this. My hanging strawberries this year have not produced well at all. I got a different type of plant. I got a June bearing plant, maybe 3 or 4 strawberries. And I've watered them consistently, like you should, because strawberries need a lot of water. And I mean, the plants themselves look gorgeous, but they don't have any berries on them. Maybe 1 or 2 at the crown, and that's about it. Last year, I had everbearing plants from a different vendor, and they just, all year, I had 6, 7, 8 a day, which makes a great little topping for some cottage cheese or something, a little snack, so that I could add that every day. And if you swapped out your hanging baskets of ferns with hanging baskets of everbearing strawberries, you would be able to have that fresh fruit a little bit every day. So you have to think about it. It's not too late, because you can still go to your farmer's market and pick up some plants. It's getting too late to start plants, especially in some areas. You might consider starting a late summer fall plant garden. Look that up. Maybe we'll talk about that another time too. It's now officially summer, and the days from now, the number of daylight hours are going to start getting smaller incrementally. And for some of us, we're very sensitive to that. I have seasonal. I am a person who struggles with seasonal affective disorder. So when the daylight hours are at their shortest in December, I struggle mightily with the blues, you may call it. I opt not to medicate for that. I'm taking enough medication for arthritis and asthma now. Light therapy is good. Vitamin D is good. My vitamin D stays consistently low, and I shame myself because I need to be taking that, and I always forget it. because I don't notice it. I notice when I don't take my arthritis medicine. I notice that same day. But vitamin D is something I don't notice when I'm not taking it. People who struggle with seasonal affective disorder, and this was something years ago was laughed at, but scientists are starting to show that it is a legitimate thing because the number of daylight hours helps set our internal clocks and things. We are going to start, and it won't be like tomorrow because there's 2 minutes less sunlight or 2 seconds less of sunlight in the day. But it will start bothering us about October when it's really noticeable and you realize, hey, I've been really struggling. I've been really dragging. And so getting a good supply of vitamin D and C is crucial. So just a reminder, fellow seasonal affective disorder strugglers, we're at the prime of our year right now. You know, this is when we have our energy. This is when we feel the best. And it's downhill from there. Oh, well, I really hadn't planned on being on too long today. I've already got a little over 30 minutes, and I'll because I got to get downtown. Let me zip through these things that I had noted down here that I want to talk to you about a little bit. Things around here are going pretty well, and I've had a long-term guest. She's been gone, a couple weeks. She's probably coming back in the fall. What happened is she's doing an internship at a local nursing home company, and not a nursing home. What am I thinking? That was a different girl. She's working for a clinic company in the area, and she's doing an internship with them. But she lives several hours, about an hour and a half away from where she's working. And so she was staying here for a long time. Now that school's out, she needed somebody to keep an eye on the kids through the day. So she's happened to drive back and forth. She should be back in the fall. We hope. We enjoy having her. She's a great person. But I do have the calendar blocked right now because I'm trying to get caught up with a lot of things here from where I was so busy with the church. So the AirBTC is still there. It's just blocked. The calendar's blocked. So, but if you want to, if you're interested in staying here, you can send me a note. There is contact information in the description. You can reach me. And Betty's walking through here pacing. I don't know what's got into her. She's worried about something. All of a sudden, she's heard a truck or something that bothers her. She's a nervous little dog. She really is. But she's not that little either. But the AirBTC is doing just fine. Like I said, we've got the calendar closed for now while I'm taking care of some stuff and getting some stuff. I do need to do some painting. I do need to paint the front porch. I was trying to get rid of some stuff out in the doghouse, and we talked about that the other day. I have a ton of books to sell, and I have put them on the on my personal Facebook page, and I'm going to put it there first, then we'll put it on Marketplace, and also we're going to try to have a yard sale on Saturday if I can do it. The temperatures are just a nightmare, so I don't know. It's still supposed to be in the 90s next week. This weekend. I'm so scattered right now. I'm sorry, you guys. You deserve me to be a little more focused, but I'm just not. So our prediction, our forecast of weather for Saturday is 96 degrees as a high, 96 Fahrenheit. It says except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny, near record high temperatures, high 96 Fahrenheit, winds light and variable, and then 75 at night. And the chance of rain is only like 7%, so we might get some heat thunder or something, but there's not supposed to be anything exciting happening Saturday other than the heat. I could offer bottles of water for $1. It's just a big headache to do that. I may put out a pitcher or something that has water in it and just give away water, ice water. But I may try to have a yard sale. I'm going to have to decide. I have to take Dad in for a shot tomorrow. I have to go to his place today to do his blood work for his INR. And then take him in for an injection in the hip tomorrow. Been having trouble with the Fiat hatch too. Mr. Holstein was able to get it unlocked for me. I almost never got it unlocked last Friday. Finally got the wheelchair in. When we got to the doctor's office, I couldn't get the wheelchair out. Told my husband, I said, I've got to get another vehicle, or we've got to fix this or get another vehicle. It's a 2012. I enjoy driving the car, but I got to be able to open that hatch. So we were able to get the wheelchair out, put by putting the front seats down and working together to get it out. It took a while, and then he was able to crawl in and go in, and it's a long story about where that manual release is, but it's not easy to get to, and you got to crawl. You got to be in the back of the Fiat to do it, and take this cover off and do all this other stuff. So he went to a local dealer where we bought the car. They don't deal in Fiat anymore, so he can't get the parts there. He tried local NAPA and Advanced Auto, maybe not NAPA, Advanced Auto, and somebody else. Anyway, he's having a hard time finding the latch. We just need to replace the whole thing. But he wired, I'll have to take a picture. He wired a plug, like you plug in, for my generation, it was in the cigarette lighter, but for your generation, it may be a power port. But it's one of those, I wish I had one here to show you. It just the ends that plugs into the power port, like you get for your USB drive. So you put that in you put that little bullet shaped thing in the power port, and then you plug it in. It has lid things for the USB drives. Anyway, he rigged a wire from that latch through the car up over one of the clothes hangers. You have those little things that hang clothes that nobody ever uses, and put that little power thing on it. So when I get in the car, what I have to do when I get in the car, I turn on the key. I have to video this. Now I love the man, and this is not a bad thing. I want you to understand this is a good thing. Women, and I mean women, pay attention. Marry a man that can do stuff. Marry a man that has some skills, because otherwise you're going to have to pay to have this stuff done. So he wires this thing so that when I get in the car, I have to put this thing in the power port. Well, when I do that, I have to turn the battery on. I have to power on the car, put this thing in the power port. It unlatches the trunk. I have to leave that the way it is, because the minute I pull that out, it'll lock. So I leave that in, get out of the car, lift the hatch, come around, and take it out. You might be a redneck if. I mean, it's just hysterical, but it works. It works. So I just got to hope I don't tear it out of there tomorrow when I put the wheelchair in the car. But it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So, it's just trying to manage that is going to be a challenge. Oh shoot. All right, let's see. So that was the doghouse. I'm cleaning out the doghouse, and we'll try to get some stuff in a yard sale. And but I don't sell things very well. I really don't. I can buy stuff. but I can't sell things very well. A couple weekends ago, we went to Lucasville, Ohio for the Lucasville Trade Days, I think is what it's called. It's a big swap meet out there, and one of these. It's like an outdoor arena kind of place. Here in West Virginia, the thing you would compare it to would be going to the state fairgrounds. It's just huge. And I didn't see a lot of swapping except cash for things. That's about all I saw. But we had a great time there. That was really good. Mr. Holstein did the most buying of things. He bought a couple of antique radios that he likes to tinker with, but he never does. Let's see. I talked about the garden. The Jimmy Nardello peppers are coming along. I don't have a recent picture of those, or I would have showed them to you. They're like, you know how elf shoes have that curl on the front? That's what they look like. Now, they're not supposed to be hot, but when they're ripe, they're a real fiery red. So they're still green. They're not ripe yet, but they're coming along. There's a couple of good sized ones on there. And the tomatoes, the Jersey Devil, I told you, it's freaky looking. The tomatoes on it are like, they almost look like peppers, you know. They're just kind of shaped that way, but they're a real tomato. It is a, what's the name for it? Let's see, I'm Joe Biden all day. Heirloom tomatoes. I think all of my tomatoes are heirloom tomatoes, except for the cherry ones that I bought at the store. And that's another reason you got to worry about blight. See, folks like to talk about their heirlooms and stuff, but they are so susceptible to disease and insects, and that's why that we have these hybrid GMO kind of stuff, because they couldn't produce enough of the other ones because of blight and disease to feed people. So whole fields and stuff would be lost, and you had nothing to eat. So, you know, science can be good when it's used for the right purposes. And so I'm not convinced that not using some pesticides and some chemicals on our plants is a bad thing if you use them gently and you use them sparingly, and think about what you're doing, and be considerate, you know, not just of your neighbors, but of the beneficial insects that we need to pollinate. The chickens and the ducks are struggling in the heat. They hate it. When I usually let them out in the early afternoon now, and I open the coop doors wide, because that Rubbermaid building that I've told you before, those of you who are familiar, that I turned into a coop, it gets very hot. That cannot be the only place for them to go. They have to have a run with shade. They have to have fresh water. So I've been checking them through the week, and when they go in to lay, because that's where they lay their eggs, that's the coop, they're dying of heat. So I'm opening the doors. If you do something like what I did, if you don't have a yard that you can turn your chickens loose in, you've got to come away that you can get some air in that building. There has to be air circulation in the summer. I mean, these poor things will die on the nest if you don't. So maybe I haven't showed you the coop lately, and I'll have to do that again. And I've also been toying with an idea of using a screen door so that I can keep them in, but those doors can be open, but they can't get out. So I'm toying with trying to set that up, and if I do, I'll show you how to do it. The ducks are doing just fine. I did lose one to a dog a while back. I'm really upset. It's gone. It's one of my young girls, so it's gone. But they're still laying, kind of. The heat gets to them too. They're all congregating under the camper. The camper's in the yard, gives them a little shade. I noticed a couple days ago when it was really, really hot that they were really. Now the chickens love it because of the dust, you know, because where the camper sits, the grass doesn't grow, and so they get in and roll in the dust and take their little dust bath. The ducks like it because it's shady. The ducks weren't getting into their swimming pool water, and I figured, well, it's probably too hot, so I run them some cooler water and set it out there under the camper, and they were very grateful for that because that water was fresh and it was cooler, and they hit it really well. So for those of you who don't know, I spent the last 18 months working to try to save my church. The short version of the story is the pastor didn't feel he could continue carrying two churches, and two of the board members walked away when he said that. I mean, walked. Didn't give any notice, just left the keys and left the checkbook and walked. And I worked with the remaining couple of ladies to try to keep the church open. We were doing a lot of stuff. We had a lot of workshops. We had a lot of lunch and learns. We were streaming our Bible study and stuff. We worked really hard, but I just can't do that anymore. And after 2 cycles with the West Virginia Conference of United Methodist Church not appointing a dedicated pastor, I won't say full-time because a lot of the pastors have multiple churches, but they didn't assign a dedicated pastor to us. and it was just becoming too much of a struggle. People weren't coming to the church and saying it's because we didn't have a pastor, and maybe it was because I was there, and I felt that, if we had a dedicated pastor who was there, then I could step back a little bit, and it wouldn't, these folks would not be, they would come back, let me say. But I just couldn't do it anymore, and I decided we've tried a lot of stuff, and at our we had a gospel sing in May, and we had almost no attendance at the gospel sing. And I looked at the ladies that were there, and I said, people won't come out for a gospel sing. They're not going to come out to the church, and I just can't do this anymore by myself. And it's kind of by myself. I mean, the Lord, He gave me the strength to do what I did, and He helped me with some learning and some things that I needed. But apparently it's not His desire to keep the church open, because we weren't growing, and I couldn't reach anybody because I was doing all these other things. And just a long story. Anyway, so the last several months has been hardcore pushing for the church, and that hasn't worked. And so on the 30th, Sunday the 30th, is going to be our decommissioning of the church. And then I'll still have, I guess, a few things I have to do as we wrap things up. But it's gone. The roof is done. The grant was finished. We don't have enough money to keep everything going the way it should be. And the United Methodist Church has gone woke. Saw it coming. Not a fan. I am fairly traditional in my beliefs. And you do you, boo. But when I tell you I believe something is wrong, and you say, well, you don't, well, okay, fine, go your way. But I'm out, and I'll be looking for a new church. I'm looking probably for a non-denominational church in my area. But I put that here because because the amount of time I was spending trying to save the church and taking classes and things, because I am a certified lay minister in the United Methodist West Virginia Conference. And I had a certification with some other stuff. But anyway, I can now let that go, and I can focus more on these kind of things. So I'll be sharing a little bit. I'm toying with some things. I have some ideas, and I'm praying about them, and hopefully the Lord will say, hey, He was probably telling me all along, this isn't what I want you to do. So, and I was just stubborn about it. So I'll be looking for a new church, and July 1, actually, it's going to be the magic day, I think. Other than that, I don't have a lot to get into today. I've been rolling for 45 minutes or so, and I don't like to go more than an hour, and I kind of don't like to go a full hour if I can. But if you got this far, I hope I was able to help you. I hope there was something that I said that you went, oh, hey, I'm going to try that. I hope there is something that you thought, oh no, that's not something that connected with you. And I hope you will comment and like and subscribe and all those things. I don't like to push that, but apparently I'm supposed to. I don't do that very well. This is the 129th episode of Holstein House. And, I've had a big gap, and that's kind of what I was trying to explain, is that there was a lot of things going on at the same time. And this, regular twice a week was becoming difficult. And then since January, because I was doing so much with the church and putting together all the classes and stuff for the Bible study, it was just too much. So, but hopefully we'll be getting back on track. And if you do book, if you want to come and stay when we have the calendars open, when we have the bookings open here at Holstein House, you'll go to robinholstein.com and look for Holstein House on the menu. And if you do direct book, and I suggest you direct book. Now, I'll have links. I do have links there for both to go through Airbnb, if that's what you prefer, or to direct book. And if you direct book and use the promotional code BROAD5, BROAD 5, the number 5, BROAD, the number 5. You'll get 5% off your stay because you listened all along to the end of the broadcast today. So we also have a Telegram group. It's t.me/Holstein House Chat. You go to robinholstein.com as the contact page for that. And I do appreciate you being here with me. If you go to robinholstein.com and go to the contacts page, you'll see a list of all the ways you can get a hold of me and the different social media applications and things that I use. I am toying with a few new other ones that maybe we'll see. And I'm looking at some of the ones over that are have been created for Nostr. And there's a streaming service over there, and there's a podcast service over there, and all kinds of good neat stuff that I can do through Nostr. And those of you who want to zap, and you know what that means if you're involved with Nostr and Bitcoin, if you want to zap a little acknowledgement, that would be great. Hey, if you want to do that, also in the description of today's broadcast is my lightning address that you can send. You can zap me with my lightning address, or you can go to Nostr and look me up. I'm on Nostr. I've been on Nostr for a little over a year now, but I don't know it right off because your public key is like 8 million characters long. But I think I have that on my contact page. Anyway, the lightning address is there if you want to use it. If you're listening to me on the podcast, I am on Fountain. It's my preferred podcast application, and you can zap there, and you can flip there, and hopefully I said something that's worth flipping. I try not to get into too much controversial politics, but maybe I should. That seems to be what everybody's wanting. But I'm going to go now because I do have to go to town. And hope you guys have enjoyed it today, and we'll get back with you pretty soon. And so you have a great day, and we'll talk to you again. Maybe early next week. We'll see. So you take care, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
So there you have it. Post your comments, do all that boosting, liking, sharing, thumbs up, and stuff that helps spread the word and poke the algorithms. Follow me on most of the big social media platforms, and look for my name, Robin Holstein, or Holstein House. Till next time, bye-bye.